Welcome to the Cosmic Dispatch, a show about bodies, celestial and earthbound, time, experience, and the relationship between all of them. I'm your host, Cory Nakasue, and welcome and good afternoon. Thank you for joining me slash us today. I have someone coming in. Um, on this June 4th, 2023. Happy June, happy Gemini season, happy Pride Month. I know a lot of people are finishing up school related things right now with an eye on summer proper. But for those of us who aren't on a school schedule, I think it already kind of feels like summer. In Kingston today, Kingston, New York, it's a little gray and cloudy, but I'm still having that internal clock of okay, 3 months of doing more of whatever I want. um, but yeah, I'm starting to work outside and write outside, planning fun activities for the next few months, having people drop by, getting the house ready for visitors, traveling a little bit more, cooking outside and being outdoors past 8 o'clock and have it still be light. I got my first watermelon. I got my first mosquito bites. So yeah, I'm already in that summer frame of mind. I'm into it, and I hope this month treats you well. We got a big week of astrology ahead of us. I hope you enjoyed that little lull in the action that we had last week because this week is louder and more vibrant. I actually like the look of this week a lot, but it's not really relaxing. Um, and so I do have astrologer Mandee Sheeler joining me today, as she does every month for her full moon report. The full moon perfected last night. So we are, as of today, still in the full moon phase. We'll be hearing from Mandee in a little bit about that. And as usual, she's bringing some audience questions for us to discuss. Before we get to the astro weather for the week, I'd like to share the monthly overview of June, which you can find in Chronogram magazine along with your horoscopes. And those are available online and on shelves right now. So, this bird's eye view of June is called Racing Minds and Hearts Aflame. So we enter June in the middle of Gemini season with a blazing full moon in Sagittarius on the 3rd. This is a time when thoughts move at a clip and inflammatory news travels far and wide. Expect communications to move faster than usual as Mercury, the ruling planet of Gemini, races through Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. So it's not doing all those signs in the month of June, but during this month of June, we are going to see the three expressions of Mercury. Typically, Mercury spends about 3 weeks in each sign, but this month, for instance, it completes its whole tour of Gemini in just 2 weeks. So, moving on might be the most uttered phrase of the month, as we also have Saturn stationing retrograde on the 17th. So, when Saturn pauses and reverses, it's less dependable as a trusted timekeeper. So and that's Saturn's job, right? It's Saturn is also in mythology known as Chronos, which translates into time. We think of things like chronology or the aforementioned chronogram. That's how we keep time. And so that's happening mid-month. And on June 5th, Venus enters the fiery sign of Leo, where it will spend an extended 4 months due to its retrograde. And in Leo, Venus is flamboyant, ardent, proud, and desirous of all that is playful and colorful. Watch for themes that emerge during this time, as they might be the beginning of stories that play out until October. Mars is already occupying Leo, making Venus's cohabitation a sign of fertile unions that are dramatic in nature. The red hot lovers, which would be Mars and Venus, get cooled off a little bit when the sun enters Cancer to initiate the summer solstice on the 21st. Though the temperature might be rising, the sign of Cancer urges us to hide in the shade a little bit and stay close to home. It's an excellent time to reconnect with family and nurture emotional bonds and just get close with everyone who is dear to us. Mercury's entrance into Cancer on the 26th may prompt some conversations about safety and security in our personal lives and on the world stage. So tread lightly on sensitive subjects because at that time, with Mercury in Cancer, feelings are enmeshed with our thinking. And so that just makes us ultra sensitive. But being ultra sensitive is no excuse for not having important conversations. So definitely do have them. Just take note and keep in mind that you might be talking about something completely ideological or political, but those seemingly very intellectual conversations are going to be entwined with deeper and deeper feelings rooted in like personal safety and security. So there's the broad picture of June. Before we move on to the more detailed astro weather for the week, I just want to say thanks to everyone who supports this show and gives us such great feedback. It really helps us guide our work. Please continue to share your astrological experiences and musings, ask questions, and give us show and guest recommendations by emailing us at thecosmicdispatch@gmail.com. And you can stay up to date with all of the Cosmic Dispatch content on our Instagram. And please subscribe to the Cosmic Dispatch on YouTube if you're a visual person or you like to follow along with a transcript. So, now that that's out of the way, um, let's get into the very, very interesting astrology of the week. Note that a big, bold, fiery full moon in the sign of Sagittarius perfected last night at 11:41 p.m. Eastern. So that is what kicks off this week. And Mandee will go into more detail about that. But on the heels of that, which is today, June 4th, Mercury conjoins Uranus. In fact, that happened just about 10 minutes ago today, a little before the start of this show. So hopefully, this show provides a lot of light bulb moments for you. I love a good Mercury Uranus conjunction. Here we have the planet of the mind and communication blending with the planet of awakening, liberation, and disruption. So, this is a time for mental breakthroughs and epiphanies. If you've been stuck trying to solve a problem or make a change, this is the kind of transit that can signal a significant release of energy. In the sign of Taurus, we're thinking about practical subjects. We're looking for a deviation from a rut or a habit. This could also signal changes in the way we think about money, resources, our bodies, and pleasure. Try something new. It just might work. Allow yourself to be surprised. Um, in some practices, Uranus is called the higher octave of Mercury. So, where Mercury is curious, communicative, and mechanical, Uranus expands on that by actively pursuing innovation, breaking down barriers that that keep us from moving and moving our experience into the ethereal, energetic, and astral planes of our of being, of existing. So Uranus is often referred to as the sky god. So think of images of the clouds parting and light piercing through the veil of darkness, and listen for what's coming through intuitively. So, and then, and then on June 5th, now this is huge, folks. And I'll be exploring this for the next few months. So, on the 5th, Venus enters Leo. Typically, Venus spends about 3 weeks in one sign, but due to its upcoming retrograde in July, Venus will spend about 4 months in Leo. This means 4 months of a more extroverted expression of Venus, more fire, more heat, drama, passion, presentation. And not only that, however, because when any planet goes through its retrograde phase, we go through a deep dive of what that planet in our chart at this time in our life represents. So we're not dealing with superficial Venus here, unless you want to. Um, you can, but if you opt out of this deeper thing that can happen, you'd be missing a lot. We're embarking on a 4 month investigation of all things Venus, all things Leo, and all things that the Leo house in your chart represent. We're also rehashing some life events from 8 years ago specifically. 8 years ago, Venus was pretty much in this same exact part of our chart doing its retrograde thing. So look for echoes of whatever happened 8 years ago, or maybe picking up where you left off from 8 years ago. That could express in a lot of different ways. So pay attention, especially to what comes up around this first and second week of June. It's the beginning of your Venus and Leo story. And I'll be talking more about this as Venus moves through the different phases of her journey, which lasts until the beginning of October. But in the more immediate phase of her journey, as in this week, Venus comes into Leo with some heavy duty intensity. Remember a few weeks ago when I was talking about 0 degrees Aquarius and how for a while that's the hot degree because any planet entering a new sign, right, as it makes its entrance, is going to make an aspect to 0 degrees Pluto, where Pluto is still very, very, very slow. That's why it's hanging out there. Well, on the 5th, right after Venus enters Leo, it makes an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. This could symbolize a couple of days when we could become quite obsessive about the things and the people we cherish, where we feel some of our own shadow material come up around the ways we relate to people, the ways we express ourselves and our creativity, and maybe even come upon some hidden tensions around our money and resources. So think the darker nature of love, think the underbelly of love, dark beauty, and dark money. And just to intensify this even more, Venus squares the moon's nodes in Taurus and Scorpio on the 8th. So we have a little T square going on there. This would add to the all or nothing type of vibe of the Pluto Venus opposition. And then throw in the full moon in Sagittarius vibes at the very top of the week. And I would expect some big declarations, ultimatums, and very bold gestures. It's real winner take all kinds of energy. Um, Maybe you're in a situation that needs that kind of energy. You need to get to the bottom of something. You need to exert some power or control. This kind of situation is great for that. Use it. But just try to gauge if that much force is truly needed, or if you're putting that kind of pressure on situations out of fear or a need to dominate. And usually, when we feel like we need to really control a situation or we need to step in and like dominate a person or a thing, um, it's because we're scared. If we don't have fear, if we're comfortable, we're not going to try to tighten our grip on something or control. So, so some of that might be coming up as well. Um, and with Pluto in the mix, the deep truth about something is available if you have the courage to look at it and the maturity to take it on board. So, yeah, these are some real succession types of vibes going on here for all of you fans of Succession. I mean, I'm a fan. And if you were looking for like an example in everyday pop culture, that show really has Venus, Pluto, Scorpio, Taurus just written all over it. Um, so, yeah, there's one example if you want to have some fun checking that out. And yeah, and to complete this week's astrology, when we come back from our break, which we're going to take in a second here, we'll have Mandee Sheeler delineating this gorgeous full moon in Sagittarius.